Hi, good afternoon. So today we are going to be finishing one of the sections that we started with previously, which was section 7.2. And section 7.2, this was trigonometric integrals. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue on with this section. So I'm really quickly going to jump into an example that is going to just say that we want to evaluate these integrals. So here we go. We want to evaluate the first integral. I'm going to label this part A, and the integral is going to be the integral for tangent of x squared multiplied by cosine cubed of x, and this is all dx. Now, in order for me to tackle this problem, again, there's multiple ways to try to do these problems, right? You can try to use Pythagorean identities, you can try to use u substitution, or you can try to use by parts. Now, one of the items that we want to be skilled in using is we want to be skilled in using a substitution that was, let's say, brought forth from trig. So we have this identity, this ratio identity, that says that tangent squared of x is really sine squared of x divided by cosine squared of x. And if we make that substitution, then we nicely get to see here that the cosines will cancel, and we're going to be left with sine squared of x multiplied by cosine of x dx. And this is actually a really good place where we want to be, more specifically because it's at this point in time that we could make a u substitution for sine of x. So if we say u is equal to sine of x, then that must mean that du must be cosine of x dx, and cosine of x dx, we see that kind of appears here, making our u substitution with sine of x. So within this process, we can then say that this integral now looks like u squared du. And evaluating this integral is rather straightforward. It just becomes a really direct integration, which will now be 1/3 u to the power of 3 plus some constant c, because we're dealing with an indefinite integral. And since this is a case where we're not solving for u, we're trying to solve for x, we're going to resubstitute our initial substitution. So the final answer that we get is 1/3 multiplied by sine of x cubed plus c. And this should be our final answer, which is really good. Awesome.